Hello, my name is Kyle Pounds, and this video is where Christianity went wrong. There's a lot of confusion these days having to do with Christianity and God and the teachings of Jesus and all that stuff. I wasn't raised Christian. I'll just put that out there right now. I was raised Buddhist, and my parents hated Christianity, even though they were raised Christian. They hated Christianity and Christians for their own reasons, which I'm not even going to go into, because this is about what I think about where Christianity went wrong. I think I should say that. They hated Christianity because they say Christians were just obsessed with the devil. So there you go. So, where Christianity went wrong. First, I'd like to say that I think Christianity is the reason that, one of the main reasons that Europe is doing so well and America is doing so well is because it espouses the belief in God and family of man and all this stuff. And I think belief in God is necessary to have a good civilization, but that's another video. Christians, the ones who go to church and the religious right, and the ones who piss everybody off and try to control everybody, throw everybody in jail, and try to convince everybody that they're going to hell forever. Those people, their main problem is they're obsessed with the devil. They're basically devil worshippers. They're not God lovers. They're God fearers, which is a devil worshipper. So where did that come from? Well, Jesus lived 2,000 years ago, and he taught us to be one big happy family, and turn the other cheek, sacrifice yourself, have respect for being giving, and not try to have so much respect for taking, and it's great teachings. And then Apostle Paul came around. I think he played a big part in starting the ruining of it. He was definitely a great prophet, evangelist for Christianity, and did a lot of good. But what happened was he was Greek, and the Greeks, before his time, they got really into sex. Ancient Athens, if you read all of their plays and stuff, it's all about sex, and they're fucking everybody, and they were all about, women shave their pussies, and they were just talked about sex all the time. And I think maybe it caused a little bit of some diseases, and if everybody's having sex with each other, it definitely breaks down families, and if you don't have a family, you kind of break down the fabric of society, and it'll all kind of tumble apart. You won't have any solid role models from your parents and stuff like that. So this guy, Apostle Paul, was Greek, and he I think by the time he was living, they were kind of having a little bit of a backlash, the Greeks, against all the sexuality. They were trying to be more austere. They were thinking, because people were getting it's kind of like if you smoke too much weed, you just smoke weed all the time, play with yourself, and you don't get anything done. And maybe that's what they were doing with the sex, just not getting everything done. And sometimes you have to just be more disciplined, enough for you if you're going to get stuff done. If you're going to be productive, you have to be disciplined. That's why when you join the army, they make you so disciplined. And so people 2,000 years ago were definitely a lot more barbaric, so they were definitely in a lot more need of discipline than we are now. So I think he kind of took the liberty to go ahead and preach that if you want to get into heaven, you have to completely deny your sexuality, and also deny your body, because Jesus was talking about heaven and eternal life. And so I guess they didn't have a very solid idea of reincarnation back then, even though I think the educated people believed in reincarnation, and some of the less educated didn't really have an idea about it. And so they got all excited about going to this heavenly place, and you don't have a body there. So if you don't have a body, maybe there's no sex or something. So they didn't, he started preaching this whole thing. And also, I think he was sexist. He traveled around with a woman. I don't really know, but if you want to, it goes in with. It started to get bad when the Romans took over Christianity. They started getting on this whole devil going to hell if you don't give yourself to Jesus and the Pope, in order to get their Jesus, my brain's not working very well. What's that word? Empire. Their empire. Just as you keep growing, their empire was starting to shrink. And this is a whole nother. I talk about this extensively in my reincarnation video, but their empire was starting to crumble, and so they needed people to become Romans and become Christian, and so they basically made it so that you couldn't believe in reincarnation. You had to believe that you're going to go to hell if you weren't a Christian, which, i.e., Roman. They and another thing is it's a good way to control people. I think if you don't have any sex, if you make people I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, or to even understand, but they just got obsessed with the devil, and for maybe somebody can explain it. This video has just as many questions as answers, I guess. If you make people afraid of your body, then you have their mind. If you have their body, you have their mind, and a good way to have your body is not telling you you'll go to hell if you have sex. And back then in those days, people were a lot more barbaric, and you definitely needed to control people so you can have a family unit. There was a lot of infidelity going around, and you needed the family unit. So you definitely needed to keep your dick in your pants. And a good way to do that is by thinking that nudity and all this stuff that could make people lose control and start fucking around. It's actually an appropriate thing in a lot of ways. But fast forward to today, we've got all these people, they just take it way too far. I think what happens is people, we have this animal instinct, this craving for blood. I think that's a lot of the reason why we have this war on drugs, and the war on terror. If you want to make the world better, you have to wage war on somebody, strengthen the economy, wage war on somebody. And so people, they proselytize Christianity, and they just, I guess they run out of the good news, the good word, and they just have to go and revert back to what the devil and the dangers, and then they just get sucked into that, and they just it's not even about God anymore. It's just about the devil. And so nowadays, if you mention God, like I was in Korea and I had a bunch of friends, and I started saying, oh, you should believe in God, because I was hanging out with a bunch of these fundamentalist Christians, and until they stopped wanting to philosophize with me, because they don't philosophize. All my friends, they thought I was a fundamentalist Christian, so